Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the exam question, explain how flooding can be managed using hard engineering strategies. I'm going to take you through a model answer to this question and show you some tips of the trade to help you write a thorough, detailed and well explained answer to pick up all of those 6 marks that are available. So first of all, if we have a little look at the question, we can see that we're being asked to explain how flooding can be managed using hard engineering strategies. My suggestion of these sentence starters would be to talk through a method of hard engineering, talk about how that prevents flooding, and then go one step further to say what that affects in the river and how that impacts on the environment in terms of the flood risk. Using these sentence starters will allow you to explain that fully and show the examiner that's reading your work the full extent of your ability to explain. So here's my model answer to this question. Hard engineering strategies are designed to prevent flooding from occurring by altering the river's channel and help to stop water overflowing, even in circumstances where the river's discharge would usually lead to a flood occurring. One method of hard engineering is channelization. This affects the flow of the river by straightening and deepening the channel, which means that water is able to flow through an area more quickly, consequently reducing flood risk as water can escape the area at risk of flooding more easily. Another method is to build artificial levees. This solves the problem of the river reaching its bank full level by raising the height of the river's banks and allowing it to carry a greater discharge. This means that a much larger rainfall event is needed for the river channel to reach its capacity, so the risk of the river overflowing its banks and causing a flood are reduced. Firstly, let's have a look at how we would pick up our marks at AO1. So that is where we would be identifying the areas where you've shown knowledge of different approaches to hard engineering and what hard engineering actually means. So if we look at the bits that I've highlighted in this answer in purple, we can see I've started my answer by defining hard engineering, its purpose, and gone some way to kind of explain how that helps to prevent flooding. I've then, in my second and third paragraphs, picked out very specifically 2 specific strategies that are hard engineering in their purpose and nature. The first one is channelization. You might know that as river realignment or river straightening. That's where the water flows instead of in a winding and meandering channel in a wider, deeper and straighter channel to speed up that flow of the water along the river and stop it backing up in areas that are potentially at risk of flooding or are important for people to use. The second strategy that I've mentioned is artificial levees. These are embankments that are built at the side of the river on the riverbanks to make it deeper, to make it wider, and to help the river to be able to carry a greater amount of water, a higher discharge, and so reduce the risk of flooding. Next, we've got some of my AO2 marks showing my understanding in terms of how those strategies are used in the river. So in the case of channelization, affecting the flow by making it straighter and deeper. In the case of levees, solving the problem of the river reaching its bank level by raising that height of the banks and allowing it to carry a greater discharge. That's what I've just explained about what these strategies actually are. And that is allowing me to access some marks at AO2. But the question asked me to explain. So the next set of statements in green are where I'm really explaining the relationship between those strategies, the water in the river, and reducing that risk of flooding. You'll notice I've used the phrase which means that and this means that to show that I've got that great depth of explanation in there. And I've peppered this as well with other connectives to extend my writing. The word consequently, saying how that affects the river next. The word so, saying how that reduces the risk of flooding. And I've dotted around as well a few key terminology, such as talking about the bank full level of the river. I've talked about the capacity of the river. I've talked about it overflowing. I've used the word discharge. So I've peppered through that knowledge in terms of the key terms that I've chosen to use. So I hope that's a useful example of a model answer to this question. and I hope that you can use it to inform your own learning, and I hope that you can develop your writing as a result of seeing a good quality answer. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.